Ken Trahan with Lenny Vangilder. It's our First NBC Bank Weekend Review, brought to you by First NBC Bank with 35 locations throughout Southeast Louisiana, the Florida Panhandle, and growing. That's First NBC Bank, proud sponsor of SportsNola.com. The Saints a loser at Arizona 31-19, perhaps closer than the final score indicated. Lenny, there were opportunities here. Each team scored 5 times. The difference was who finished drives. Arizona finished 4 with touchdowns. The Saints did not finish 4 and settled for field goals.
Red zone is certainly one thing that you're looking at, and of course a lot of the pundits are pointing to the fact that this is the Saints' first real game without Jimmy Graham, and that, obviously he was your biggest target in the red zone, and now you have to make adjustments. But I think it's a lot of things when you look at this game. First of all, let me say this: I think a lot of people are like, about trying to evaluate the season off of one game. Are we totally surprised by what we saw on Sunday? I mean, this is a team that was playing a playoff team from last year on the road with the significant number of injuries that they have. I mean, but 3/4 of their inactive list were not healthy scratches. These were guys that were out all week in practice, and they picked up another injury, Raphael Bush, on Sunday. So I'm not totally surprised by what happened. Obviously, you point to a big thing there in the red zone. You've got to be able to finish drives. No matter whether you're playing Arizona, Tampa Bay, or a college team, you've got to be 'able to finish drives.
Well, it goes without saying that that's the case. And with respect to Jimmy Graham, time will tell. If it's all about size, you got a 6'6" Brandon Coleman, you got a 6'4", 6'5" Marcus Colston. You still have size in the red zone to utilize if that is, in fact, what you're looking at. But playmaking ability is another story in itself. And, of course, everybody pointing to the decision by Sean Payton that he made to not go for it on 4th and 6 from inside his own 10 with under 2 minutes to play. So much goes into this. Number one, you wasted a timeout first series of the second half, which really hurt, because if you had that third timeout, maybe it made a little bit more sense. But it didn't, because, Lenny, with only 2 timeouts left, you can only stop it twice. And after third down, the clock would have continued to run, and people seem to have missed that. It's 40 seconds between plays. By the time they got the ball back, as I calculated, and I heard John Lynch, who I thought did a good job on television, but I heard him say they'd have just over a minute left. No, they would have had maybe 40 seconds or less remaining with no timeouts and having to go to length of the field, which to me makes the case very clearly that you had to go for it there.
I agree, but you're assuming that Arizona would have run the ball 3 times and not gotten a first down. Of course, what we saw on Sunday night, the clock management, who knows what might happen. But I digress there, of course, referring to the Giants-Dallas, and the clock management debacle by the Giants on Sunday night. But no, it's one of those things. I pointed it out this way: if you go for it and miss, okay, now you're in the same boat of trying to stop. And even if Arizona, let's say if it's a 7-point game, maybe so, okay? It's a 5-point game at that point. If your defense gets a stop, just like they would if you punted and they've got it around midfield and they get a stop, well, maybe then they're punting back. Even if you get the stop and you make them kick a field goal, it's still an 8-point game. It's a 1-score game. You've still got a chance.
So how much time?
Right. With the same difference, and you've got a chance to actually convert the 4th down in that situation. So that's, in my mind, if it had been a 6 or a 7-point game instead of a 5-point game and a field goal would have made it 2 scores and ended it, then yes, absolutely. But I think in that situation, you go ahead, take the shot to try to convert the first down.
Well, a field goal doesn't put it out of reach as you bring up. But in addition to that, even if you turn it over there and they score a touchdown right away, you have more time with a 2-score game to maybe score and then kick onside. So many things go against the decision that was made is what we're saying, basically, and that's simply our opinion.
It is, and we can sit here and second guess or first guess depending on the situation. And at the end of the day, Sean Payton gets paid a lot of money to make those decisions.
Absolutely. Final analysis, Arizona was favored. They're a better team. They won the game. Remember last year, they were 9-1 and Carson Palmer got hurt. And they were playing in the best division in football, in my opinion. That's a really good football team. So don't get too discouraged.
No, and remember this. The Saints might play 3 more games this year against teams that good. They've got Dallas, and now, look, Dallas with no Dez Bryant now when they come here in 3 weeks. He's out 4 to 6 weeks with a broken foot. They're not going to be as good as they would be.
And no DeMarco Murray.
And no DeMarco Murray. Philadelphia, perhaps.
With DeMarco Murray.
Indianapolis. That may be the only teams that you play this year that are as good or better than Arizona.
And I'm not impressed with Indianapolis' defense or their offensive line, so stay tuned. As good as luck is, we'll see. I agree with you. That's why it's not time to push the panic button, but clearly there are concerns. As for LSU, they won, and that's what matters. And everybody will talk about what happened, how it happened. They should have been up big. Penalties killed them. They were all, by the way, legitimate penalties, going back and looking at them. So they shot themselves in the foot, basically. But they won the game without the benefit of a rehearsal prior to this on the road against a quality opponent and a quality quarterback who got hot in the second half, who took a delay of game penalty that may have killed his team, by the way. And as for Les Miles taking time out late, again, all I could do is shake my head because, one, I hate the rule allowing people to do that, as we've discussed many times. And two, again, you got a guy trying a 52-yard field goal. He's not come close to making one of that distance in his career. You've already called a timeout. Let him kick it. Why give him a practice hit?
I agree. And we are talking about practice here, but still, it's but the one big takeaway I've got from this game is Leonard Fournette is the real deal.
Awesome, as I wrote.
Right, and we knew that coming in, but now you see it on the field, a career high, and I got a feeling that won't be the last time this year you see him rush for a career high total. You got a really good offensive line in front of him that can open some holes. Like you said, not for the penalties. This could have really been an LSU blowout and really a terrific offensive performance instead of one that was just 21 points with Leonard Fournette scoring all 3 touchdowns. I really liked what they did for the first touchdown. Threw a wrinkle. You don't see Les Miles throw an awful lot of wrinkles out there. I know we talk about the Mad Hatter and he goes for it on 4th down and stuff like that, but, Tim Tebow-esque. I wonder if we're going to see that a couple of times. And look, the guy's played quarterback before. He can, he could throw the halfback pass. I wonder if he stops and tries to throw the jump pass to a tight end or something like that. You just put something new in the rest of the SEC's mind to think about on that first series or that first touchdown of the game on Saturday.
Auburn comes to town this week, and they've been less than impressive so far, and the quarterback struggled. So maybe it sets up for LSU. And if they can win this game, based upon what we're looking at in the SEC, Arkansas getting beat by Toledo, Mississippi State not as good, obviously. Ole Miss scoring points, but against whom, we'll see. And then, of course, Alabama. It looks to me like LSU could be in very good shape going down the road to set themselves up for a game with Alabama.
Yeah. Long way to go. We've got a long way to get to November 7th, but you're right. It's Auburn, obviously a key game. You ever seen a team drop 8 spots in a poll after a win? Is that what we've come to now? It's like, it's all about style points. I was talking to someone who was at the Baylor-Lamar game earlier today, and the Baylor coach was all about, really trying to generate those style points. And that's unfortunate that we've got to do that now in this day and age. But you're trying to get one of those 4 spots, and sometimes you've got to, you've not only got to win, but you've got to win with an exclamation point behind it.
As for Tulane, I don't know what to say. A historically bad kicking game remains historically bad, but there are more concerns than that. Defense just couldn't possibly stand up, being left out there as much as they were against that team and that offense. Tulane's offense totally inefficient. And with the exception of 2 plays by Devin Breaux in 2 weeks, they've done absolutely nothing. I mean, absolutely nothing. And their offensive line, to me, has actually regressed. You say what?
I say this Saturday's game against Maine is gigantic. It's and obviously you're talking about FBS
because again, let's state the facts. They were supposed to lose these 2 games, and they did.
That's right. And we mentioned that when we said the Saints. Saints were supposed to lose. They were underdogs. They're playing one of the best teams on the schedule. Tulane has played the 2 best teams they're going to lose this year. Now, again, we talk about style points and things like that. The reverse style points there. They've given up 102 points and scored 17 in 2 weeks. That's not pretty. The good news is you've played the 2 best teams on your schedule. You're not going to face anyone better than this in all likelihood the rest of the year. Houston's looking pretty good so far, but I don't think they're in Georgia Tech and Duke's class. Yeah. And it starts with Maine. These young men, just like any group that's struggling right now, you need to get that win to just put some confidence in you.
Yeah, it's all about the mindset and how you deal with getting whipped that badly. It's not that you lost. It's how much you lost by how badly you lost that they have to deal with. So we'll see. High school football, and, of course, the first NBC Bank Prep Showcase continuing this past weekend with a couple of games. We'll continue this week, and certainly looking forward to it.
Heading to the West Bank, to Hoss-Memphis Stadium, a neighborhood rivalry, West Jeff and Shaw. Watch it live Friday night, sportsnola.com at 7 o'clock. The tape-delayed broadcast Saturday at noon on WHNO. And if we get an individual performance that tops what Bruce Jordan Swilling did Friday night in Bay St. Louis, well, we're in for another treat.
Sports NOLA TV, 6 p.m. Monday evening, WHNO TV 20. Watch it with Ricky Jackson, Brian Ellie Walsh, and yours truly. Lenny, as always, thanks. Have a great week.
All right. See you later this week.
That's our first NBC Bank Prep Showcase. Listen to me. Preview, review, call it what you may. It's First NBC Bank. We got that right. And they have 35 locations all over the metro area and into Florida as well. And they're going to continue to grow because they are First NBC Bank, and they're a proud sponsor of SportsNOLA.com. For Lenny, I'm Kenny. Have a great week, and God bless you.